So now we talk about the NKV pumps that are one big family and is what we call vertical multistage pumps. Actually, the word NKV stands for normalized centrifugal vertical. And that means normalized because it's a pump with double shaft. So the motor shaft on the top is connected to the shaft of the pump through a junction in here. So here there is the connector, the joint. And that's why it's called normalized, because you can swap every time the motor without changing the hydraulic part, and vice versa. You can swap the hydraulic part and you can keep the motor that both components are with standard dimension, that is standard in the market. You can always find the spare part that you need. This is normalized. Centrifugal, because this pump is actually a centrifugal pump. If you look at the shape of the impeller, it's a centrifugal impeller with 7 blades, standard for what we produce. And then vertical, we call vertical because you can see that the shape of this pump is mainly vertical shape, a vertical dimension, and that's because we have a multi-impeller in a series on the shaft. So we have more than one. This is an NKV, for example, 10.6. What does it mean? 10 is the 10 cubic meter per hour, is the nominal flow, and 6 means it's a 6 impeller pump. So we will have 6 stages on the wet and here in the stainless steel chamber. Okay, this is also why these vertical pumps are called vertical multi-stage pump. So, what are the main advantages and the main characteristics of this pump? It's a good pump, robust, very common in the market for many reasons. First of all, the flexibility that this pump gives in terms of performance. You understand that once you find the right flow pump, for example, this pump that has a nominal flow of 10 cubic meter per hour, then you can choose how many impeller you need. You might need 5, you might need 4, you might need 6, and that gives you a good flexibility on the pressure that you have from this pump. They are also very common in the market because they can reach very high head, very high pressure, because the more impeller you put, the highest the pressure that you can reach. So yeah, that makes, that's probably the only type of pump that can reach over 100 meter, 200 meter pressure. And if you need instead high flow, these pumps are very common also to be installed in a parallel system. So a booster set with 2 pumps, 3 pumps, even 4 pumps. So you can have the high pressure from the single pump, but also doubling or making the flow 3 times bigger, 4 times bigger with the number of pumps that you put in the same booster set. All these characteristics make the pump to be quite common in the market and one of the most used pumps for many applications, including air conditioning application. To see how this pump is common for air conditioning, let's have a look to the main characteristic, the physical one. We can see stainless steel chamber. You can see from the pump right in front of you. You can see flanged connection. You can see cast iron support, but it's a black cast iron coated with the cataphoresis treatment that makes this pump very resistant to corrosion environments. Then you can see normalized motor on top. We can see air bleed valve here on the top of the wet end, because when the many impeller work together and there is some air in the water, the air usually collects in the highest point of the wet chamber. So in the highest point exactly we have the air bleed valve already included with the pump. Behind here we have the joint between the shaft of the motor and the shaft of the pump, and just on the bottom of the wet end here we have the mechanical seal. Usually it's a cartridge mechanical seal for this type of pump that is easy replacement in case of maintenance. And another characteristic that makes this pump very good for air conditioning application is the fact that it has the inlet and the outlet align each other. So this design makes the pump to be perfect to be installed in a pipeline of a closed loop circuit. As I told you before, in a closed loop application typical of air conditioning, you don't need high pressure. And this is a high pressure pump, multi-stage, a lot of impeller to reach the highest value of pressure. But for air conditioning, you can also choose those models with 2 or 3 impeller that give you just the right pressure to win the pressure losses along the circuit, and they are okay for the duty.